Mute.
Mute.
I'll call this meeting to order, the Common Council, July 14th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Council chambers. Can I have a roll call, please?
Frisbee.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Cowley.
Here.
Stubby.
Here.
Levater. Here. Sorensen. Absent. We have 5.
Thank you. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hold on, we gotta cover it.
Okay, we are on to number 4, which is general public comments. I do not have any. Up next is the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains items which staff considers to be routine and have already been discussed and recommended by committee, board, or commission at a previous meeting. Do we have any questions? Otherwise, we're looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Victoria, second by Samantha. Roll call, please.
Frisbee. Aye. Hill. Aye. Cowley.
Aye.
Stubby.
Aye.
Levater.
Aye.
And Sorensen absent.
Motion passes. Thank you. On to number 15, which is the 2025 audit presentation and acceptance. The recommendation is to listen to the presentation by Kerber Rose regarding the 2025 audit of the city's finances, discussion and action as appropriate, and then accepting the 2025 audit. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me today. My name is Dave Minch. I am the government audit shareholder with Kerber Rose, responsible for the oversight of the city's audit. Excuse me. This is the first year that we started working with the city, and the audit, for the most part, went pretty well. There's a couple of things we had to work through. If you look at the statements, there are a couple prior period adjustments, which really stemmed, I think, a lot from the software conversion that the city went through last year. And then also, anytime you have a change in auditors, it's open to some interpretation. And so we really took a deep dive in this year, just really learning the dynamics of the city, and move some things to the correct accounts, make sure we got the correct expenditures in the TID accounts. And there were a number of projects that crossed funds. So between the TIDs, the water, the sewer utility, just making sure that we got everything reported correctly for the city going forward. But today we're going to go through kind of at a high level the financial highlights for the year ended December 31st, 2025. I'll refer to printed page numbers since it looks like all of you have the hard copies in front of you as we go through this. But we're going to start by looking at the annual financial report. The first page we'll look at is printed page number 1. Oh yes, it's the larger the power. Yes. Printed page number 1 is the independent auditor's report. Essentially, this is why the city and any other municipality in the state of Wisconsin has an audit done, and that is to receive an opinion on your financial statements. Our opinion is listed in the second paragraph on this page. It states that, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city as of December 31st, 2025. So in other words, this is a clean or unmodified opinion. It's essentially the highest level of assurance that we can provide as auditors on a set of financial statements. So good news for the city in this regard. Next, we're going to look at printed page number 6. This is the balance sheet for the governmental funds of the city. It contains all of the major funds, which are determined by a formula set forth by government accounting standards, and then the non-major and aggregate. A couple things I wanted to just point out here on this page is at December 31st, the total fund balance for all of the governmental funds ended the year at about $9.6 million this year. On this page, the first column is the general fund, which is obviously the main operating fund for the city. And that ended the year with a fund balance of $3.79 million. This is, let me just look here quick. This is an overall increase from the prior year. from a current year operating standpoint, so revenues less expenses. But the largest component of that is the unassigned fund balance, which is really the operating reserves for the city. It's really the reserves built up over time, the cash flow throughout the year. But that unassigned fund balance, oftentimes we get asked, how do we compare to other cities that we work with or other villages? And that's a really tough question to answer, although, every municipality provides the same general services, but the way that you're managed, the way that you fund operations is substantially different. But one thing we can do is compare that unassigned fund balance to current year expenditures. So that 3.7 million compared to about 5.6 million in current year expenditures means our unassigned fund balance is approximately 65% of expenditures, which is a very strong financial position from my standpoint. Oftentimes, at a minimum, we recommend anywhere from 25 to 35%. But, this really allows you to take advantage of any repairs or maintenance that come up or any unbudgeted items and still have enough cushion to fund your operations throughout the year. The other item I just wanted to call out on this page is about the middle column, it's the ambulance fund. That ended the year with a fund balance of about $474,000. Jumping forward 2 pages to printed page number 8. This is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance, or in other words, your income statement. As I previously mentioned, the general fund increased their fund balance about $245,000 this year, whereas the total for all of the governmental funds was an increase of about $85,000. Now this includes all of the TIDs, all the other special revenue funds that the city has, and ambulance did have a pretty strong year this year with an increase of about $85,000 in that fund. So I think overall, a lot of very positive aspects when you look at the operating results for the year ended December 31st, 2025. Does anybody have any questions on these first 2 pages? No? All right, we'll move on. Next, we'll look at printed page number 11. This is the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position for the proprietary funds or your 2 utility funds, which consist of water and sewer. Water had a very strong operating year this year. It produced operating income of about $173,000 this year, whereas the total change in that position was about $189,000 this year. So that really means that the rates that you're charging to your customers or your residents, is generating enough profit from a rate standpoint to cover and fund the operations of the water utility. The sewer utility did have an operating loss this year of about $35,000. Nothing too significant from my standpoint. It's just important that we pay attention to that. That is not a regulated utility by the Public Service Commission, which means really, you as council has the authority to recommend rate increases with that. Again, when it's that small, it could just typically be that we incurred more repairs this year, more supplies were purchased. Utility districts or utility funds across the state, the past couple of years have been hit really hard with inflation. The cost to repair anything or even the supplies is really high compared to what your rates increase year over year. So just one thing to pay attention to. The overall change in that position, though, was about $101,000, which was largely driven by the interest income earned on the cash and the reserves held in that fund. So overall, I think both utility districts or both utility funds, did have very good years this year. Next, we'll jump forward to printed page number 31. Give everybody a little bit of this tonight. This is part of the footnotes to the financial statements. So the footnotes are all derived from information that Jesse and her team provided to us during the audit. It's all based on your numbers. But one thing I always like to point out is in the state of Wisconsin, municipalities are authorized to incur up to 5% in general obligation outstanding debt of your equalized valuation set forth by the Department of Revenue. That calculation means that the city could have up to $23.6 million in general obligation outstanding debt. At December 31st, the total outstanding debt was about $5.1 million, which means the margin for new indebtedness is approximately $18.5 million. So generally speaking, your debt load is relatively low compared to the total authorized amount that you could incur. I just think this is another very positive aspect for the city to be operating with that low of outstanding debt, so. Lastly, we'll look at printed page number 47. This is the budget to actual schedule within the annual financial report for the general fund. So I think this is one of the more useful one of the more useful pages in the annual financial report. This really paints the picture of what did we plan was going to happen, what did we adjust for throughout the year, and what was our actual results. So there was a number of budget amendments throughout the year. Originally, the original budget had projected a decrease in fund balance of about $487,000. Throughout some budget amendments that were made, we projected to have a decrease of about $808,000. And the actual results are very positive in the fact that we had an increase in fund balance of about $245,000. There really wasn't anything that I could point out within the budget that was any one related item. I think a lot of it is just some very conservative budgeting that was taking place. And I think there was, some items maybe budgeted for in the general fund that actually belonged in another fund, and so we might have moved some of that activity. But I think now that those journal entries have been posted, it'll be easy for the city and Jesse and her team to account for that going forward. But again, I think it's just a very positive aspect of the financial results for the general fund to have a projected decrease and come in with a very significant increase in fund balance. Does anybody have any questions on the annual financial report? Okay. Last thing I want to cover is the stapled copy of the management communication letter that's with your audit. Again, this is standard communication that we issue at the conclusion of all of our audits. For the most part, it's just a recap of what we did as part of our audits and what we some other various communications that we got to have. One thing I want to talk about is on the fourth page. On page 4 starts our internal control over financial reporting section of this report. As auditors, we're not required to audit all of the city's internal controls, but we are required to take them into account while we're planning and performing our audit. And anytime we identify a weakness, we need to evaluate it to see if it meets the definition of a material weakness, a significant deficiency, or simply an other matter. We did have a couple findings to note this year. One that we consider to be a material weakness, and that is the material account adjustment finding. So as I mentioned kind of at the onset of tonight, we did have to post a number of journal entries to get our beginning fund balance in line with where it should be, to make sure we are accounting for things in the correct fund, and then also help, with some of those year-end accruals. And so essentially, you have an audit done to make sure that it is presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And that's what we did as part of our journal entries. So just wanted to add some color to that. On the next page, we have 2 items that we consider to be significant deficiencies. The first one being the financial reporting finding. And this is a very common finding. I would say we work with about 140 municipalities and a little over 60 school districts in the state. And this is a finding that probably 95% of all governmental entities receive. And you're receiving this finding simply due to the fact that you contract with your auditors to assist with the preparation of the annual financial report. This is driven largely by audit standards that said you as management are ultimately responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of that. And if you can't, you really have 2 options. You can contract with a third party to prepare the annual financial report, or simply contract with your auditors. So I always, treat this more as a reminder to you that, although we're assisting with it, you are ultimately assuming responsibility for the fair presentation of the annual financial report. The next finding is the segregation of duties finding. Again, this is a somewhat common finding. I would say 75 to 80% of all governments that we work with receive. And you're receiving this finding simply due to the limited number of staff that have oversight and responsibility as part of the financial reporting, record keeping, and presentation duties of the city. And I always treat this more as a reminder to those of you sitting in this room that, when you're approving disbursements, when you're reviewing receipts, that you ask diligent questions and that you make sure you understand, what you're approving. One, this helps deter fraud, but more importantly, it helps identify, human error. We don't find a ton of fraud during our audits. We do find it occasionally, but we do find a lot of human error. And so a lot of that can be prevented or corrected simply by asking the question. So, again, I just encourage you, when you're looking through the consent agenda, make sure that you're asking questions about the disbursements that you're paying, ask for support for anything that's just, again, an enhanced control and also deters any fraud that could be occurring. So, with that, there was just a few other items that when we went through kind of the financial statement with Jesse and our team, just a couple of other recommendations that we had. One being to consider consolidation of some bank accounts. There's a lot of bank accounts, which just means we've got to do more reconciliations on a monthly basis. And then two, I think some of the aspects within the accounting software may not have been set up correctly from the start. So we've had discussions with Jesse, and we're more than willing to help the city, with our opinion, working with the software, the third-party provider, I think Mountaineer was it. So just, providing our kind of expertise, since we work with so many municipalities, to help streamline things for the city and getting a little better financial reporting standpoint on a monthly basis. Any additional questions? Any questions?
I will say I was shocked when Jesse told me that the audit was complete. I was nervous. We know that last year was a struggle and has continually been a struggle, I think, since switching over to the new software. So I didn't have nearly as many phone calls this year. It was quite pleasant there. So I'm very shocked and I'm happy that it went as well as it did. And
Yeah, Jesse and her team were very responsive. I mean, we really dug into everything, just knowing that, it was the first year. And we really value all of our clients and all of our audits as a partnership. And so we're here to help you guys, with anything that you need. And, we felt it was our job to look at everything, make sure we had things, presented correctly from the onset of our partnership with the city.
great.
I'm thinking it's positive and giving a really good attaboy to the city administrators and also to council for working on ways to reduce the budget and to get it down to where it's passing. This is really great news. I know some of it was GL movement, but also I think that a lot of work was done to make that budget work. So just really proud of the city for making that happen.
It was a very pleasant audit experience. We definitely feel much more supported this year and are really looking forward to their help in working with our third party to continue to utilize our software better. So it's not that it doesn't work, it's just way more work than it needs to be as it's currently set up.
Yeah, our goal would really be to get it, so, a lot of times, some of our clients say we need our audit done to know where we end up at year end, right? But if we set up the software correctly, maybe provide some training to you guys, we can really get it where, on a monthly basis, exactly where things are at, so.
And that's where it should have been, but it's been a struggle since we did this switch over to this financial software. So it's very nice and reassuring to hear that we're finally on the right track.
There's definitely some work to be done with the software, but I think, I'm confident we got a really good year-end balance. We know where things are at. Like I said, making sure that we get all our TID expenditures in the TIDs, because the TIDs pay for those, right? Otherwise, it sits in the general fund or it sits in water and sewer, which then impacts your residents and, through a rate increase or something like that. So, everybody here was very accommodating. I mean, we asked for a lot of stuff this year. We really did, but I think it went well and we got through it, so.
My only other comment was going to be last year, I felt like I heard a lot of negative. It wasn't all great. This year, the first time I heard anything about it was, it's complete. So kudos to everybody in the office that helped make that possible. And this is exciting that this is done before November.
Our goal is really to, with all of our clients, to try to provide a draft within 2 weeks of final fieldwork. And jobs like this where they're new, there's some more adjustments. We don't always meet that, but our goal will really be to get it done timely, so.
Well, thank you very much. But anybody have any questions while he's? I know you guys, this is probably a lot of, Jesse is happy to answer questions along the way to make, so that we can understand, because this is a lot thrown at a lot of our newbies tonight, but.
Well, if anybody has any questions, get ahold of Jesse, she can pass them along to me. I'll be happy to answer them, even throughout the middle of the year, so.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks
you very much.
again. Thank you. We are looking for, a motion to accept the 2025 audit.
I will make a motion to accept or approve
Oh, sorry, approve. Well,
the 2025 audit of the city's finances.
I'll second that.
motion by Sam, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is number 16, which is the cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license request for Walmart Stores East, DBA Walmart number 1727 at 861 County Road F. The recommendation is to review and act on cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license for the period July 1 through June 30th, 2027.
We don't have a set number of these like we do liquor license, do we?
No, and they don't actually have to be planning to sell to get a license, if you guys are okay with them having it kind of in their back pocket. They had it previously.
I'll make a motion to grant the cigarette, tobacco, and electronic vaping device retail license application for Walmart Stores East, LP DBA Walmart number 1727.
I'll second that.
Motion by Sam, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17 is a special event permit request for Kingdom of Wonders Circus, the free community event, July 21st through the 23rd. Setup is July 20th in Riverside Park. Recommendation is discussion and action as appropriate. Does anybody have any, Scott, sorry. Do you have anything to add before I?
Go sit down.
I just looked up and you were standing there all ready to give your spiel.
No, it's been several years since we've had a circus in town. Kingdom of Wonders is offering a free circus. If you would approve it, they would come in on the 20th to set up, and the circus would be 21st through the 23rd, 6 p.m. each evening, lasting about 100 minutes. There will be no animals or clowns, it's just simply humans. So,
Artists. Do we have any, I guess I did notice the location of it is right like on the outside of the ball down by the boat launch parking lot, correct?
basically playing field, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we have any concerns with it being close and, well, I don't wanna say loud, but a nuisance for campers? Do we know, is that a worry?
6 to 8, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
That was
It's
my-
gonna be a busy atmosphere, that's for sure.
Well, that was my only concern, was like, are we gonna have any upset campers that thought that they were coming for a nice quiet evening and now that whole field is going to be built? Or,
Might be just the opposite, they've got free entertainment.
right, and I thought, I was worried, obviously, about the negative aspect of it.
Where are they planning to be housed, I guess?
My understanding is they house themselves.
Like on location or,
Location, is that,
I'm sure we'll have to probably coordinate with the PD to get some,
passes of sorts, or,
well, where they might not be able to park, we could lift that for them. Within the parking lot.
so I'm assuming we're talking like campers or trailers, kind of. Does anybody have any questions about this or any concerns? Any other than we talked about?
they don't need a special license, vendor license to sell anything at the circus, do they? Because I see that that's how they make their money. Just by donations and by selling merchandise.
I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I guess they'd have to go through the we don't require it.
This may be an abundance of caution, but do they submit to you that they have done background checks on all their employees?
It's actually a very good question.
Nothing that's on our checklist anyways.
Did they say about how many employees, actors, with
Yeah.
other people?
How big are we expecting this thing? Like, did they give you any kind of details as far as like, how big is a tent? I'm assuming there's a tent. How big is
They
it?
needed an area that was 125 feet by 125 feet.
I will say I did look this up earlier today, and they are in multiple other locations within the next 2 weeks.
They are, I looked at their website.
Traveling.
They're legit, yeah.
Eagle River, Marion, Ladysmith, Marathon City.
I mean, very rarely do we only have a few free community events.
You see, it looks like it's Renaissance themed.
Something different.
Oh, is it?
Families to do
Yeah.
this. Yeah, with their website, that's it.
And when they do come in on the 20th, Andrew with the parks, and I will be making sure that there's plenty of sanitation and stuff like that, so.
Circus entertainment would include a Renaissance-themed theatrical circus featuring acrobatics, juggling, comedy, and a narrative adventure without animals or traditional clowns. The shows last approximately 100 minutes, including a 15-minute intermission, and is designed to captivate both children and adults. All performances are free to attend, with funding supported through donations, concessions, and merchandise sales.
I'd like to take credit for that, but it came off of their website.
I think generally it's a great idea to bring another form of entertainment to Berlin and see how the community likes it. If they want to continue doing it year after year, it might be something that we can keep bringing back. I think it's a great idea. I know I sound probably fuddy-duddy, but I think like, it's always been kind of like, when you talk about circuses, people think about kind of a different element of people coming in, and so I would feel like safer if I knew that they all had background checks, but if they're only gonna be here for 2 days, you know, in and out of the community, doing a couple performances and gone, I think we're probably okay,
Given the amount of places that they
visit, yeah.
All right, does anybody wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to allow the special event permit for the Kingdom of Wonders Circus on July 21st through the 23rd at Riverside Park.
Motion by Victoria, second by Jamie. Did this go to Parks and Rec?
It did not.
No, there's no animals.
Okay. All right, motion by Victoria, second by Jamie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We just make sure we get that on our website. So you can, please. Thank you. Okay, on to number 18, which is the real estate services contract with Core Inc. for Wisconsin 91, West 49 South Berlin, Green Lake County Road Project. The recommendation is to approve the agreement at a cost not to exceed $63,900 plus $4,300 per parcel.
So the actual document is in the front of your binder. I sent it to you electronically as well after the attorney had a chance to go through it. He did have some changes. I sent it to Core as well, however, they've had a day to look it over. So if you're comfortable with this and this motion, I would also add on there that if Core has adjustments If they're okay, if the attorney approves of it, if you're comfortable with that, then we can just move forward. If you're not, we'll just bring it back. But I just thought they may have a tweak or two, due to the timing of this. And therefore, if you're okay, if attorney signs off, great, and otherwise we'll just bring it back, so.
I'm fine if the attorney signs off.
And hopefully they'll just say it looks great, but just in case.
Okay, we're looking for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agreement with Core Inc. at a cost not to exceed $63,900 plus $4,300 per parcel for parcels requiring appraisal and appraisal review for real estate acquisition services for the Wisconsin 91, Wisconsin 49 South to Berlin Green Lake County Road project. Terms as set out in the proposal submitted by Core Inc. on May 28, 2026. This approval is contingent upon the approval of the contractor and agreement by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
I'll second.
And the attorney's approval.
And the attorney's approval, thank you.
If Core has any changes.
And the attorney's approval of Core recommends any changes.
Perfect. Motion by Victoria, second by Stan. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 19 is the transportation program and Meals on Wheels delivery update. The recommendation is to listen to the presentation and update regarding the senior center's participation in the Green Lake County's program as a grant recipient / service provider. Sue, Jesse, who wants to go?
This all started back when I went to an ADRC meeting at Green Lake County, and I learned about what's called empty miles. And that basically means that there must always be a passenger in the vehicle when using grant funds. Meaning that the driver's wages should not be coming out of the transportation grant for the Meals on Wheels delivery, nor for assisting in the kitchen for the Meals on Wheels packaging. So knowing that, we needed to find an alternate funding source for these tasks, as it was not in the budget, but we had limited funds to pull from. Working with Ryan Bamberg, the Green Lake County Aging ADRC Unit Manager, a plan was put in place that as of August 1st, all Meals on Wheels will be delivered by volunteers through Green Lake County as is proper and modeled in the Marquezine meal site. And the kitchen assistants, being the responsibility of Green Lake County as the meal site manager, will now be done by volunteers. Any plan was put into place by Green Lake County. Furthermore, after reviewing the transportation activity at the senior center for the past year and a half, the average number of rides has been 4 per week. Therefore, all parties agreed that the funds would be better utilized at the county level, and the remaining transportation grant funds would be transferred back to Green Lake County. So there are 2 important takeaways from this. Number 1, seniors still have access to the same transportation program, but would just be calling the Green Lake County instead of the senior center. The Meals on Wheels will still be delivered, but now by volunteers through the county nutrition program. The kitchen assistants will still be available, but will now be done by volunteers. And number 4, our city drivers have been invited to drive for Green Lake County and could continue doing the same job that they're doing now if they choose to.
On a volunteer basis.
No, they would get paid.
Well, they would.
From the comment.
Yes.
And the new numbers and addresses and stuff would be, I'm assuming, communicated to those who typically use the service.
Absolutely, yes. Right now we have 2 regulars, and one is fully aware. The other one, after tonight's meeting, I plan to give them a call tomorrow to discuss this. She was already given the phone number for Green Lake County, but I'd like to speak with her further, just to reassure her that the same program is still available. It's just through the county now.
Does the county have a perimeter, a drive-in perimeter?
Not really. So I did receive some information regarding that, and
I'm just comparing between our taxi would all stay in city limits, but the county would provide further.
right, so what happens, it's a little bit different with the county versus what we did with the city. And the county charges, it is $5 for local rides versus what we charged was $2. And then $20 for rides anywhere within the county, $20 for that, and $40 for destinations outside of the county. Counties, it says the $20 for rides anywhere within the county includes Ripon. But there's a big difference because if you, I mean, they're saving some in some destinations and it's a little more costly in other destinations, but Berlin being local, $2 versus their $5, it is round trip. But then you look at a ride to Appleton through the county would be $40, whereas Berlin was charging $55. So give and take.
And then I just want to point out, the van that we were currently using. We are going to just transfer that to, we have won that or received that grant.
So, the van that we have is a 23 Chrysler, and that was purchased a few years ago with a grant from the DOT, and that's an 80-20 grant. So we paid 20% and, the DOT paid the 80%. So therefore, that vehicle is still 80% the state's. So if we got rid of this vehicle, we'd have to go through their process and get paid back and all that stuff. Well, we also actually just were notified that we can receive a grant this year for an 80-20 match to purchase a vehicle for the cab company that we have a contract with. We own the vehicles that the cab uses for the city program. So rather than take that grant and now have to go up with the 20%, we would like to just simply transfer this van to the cab company. Our initial conversations with the DOT is that that should be acceptable. They've actually sent us some paperwork. So that is our hope. We definitely would like your support to move forward with that and save us from having to buy another vehicle and dealing with having to get rid of one.
And it's only a few years old.
It is, it's a 2023.
Maintenance regular.
Right. Do we are looking for motion. This makes sense.
My hope is, I spoke with Brian Baylor this afternoon and just touched base, just like Sue already told you, they're working to put volunteers in place and we're working to fill in with staff as best we can to get us through, of course, the end of the month and perhaps a little bit after that, but they're, having great progress. And Ryan said that he certainly would be willing to come in August and kind of give an update as to where everything has shaken out and where we're at. So either at the committee of the whole or the regular meeting, depending on his schedule, because he may have meetings too, hoping to get him in here too, so that we can just all be on the same page.
So how does the loss of the grant money affect you? I mean, if you're only giving 4 rides, you just using that grant money for those 4 rides, and then the rest just stays.
Well, there are a few things that come out of grant money. One would be the driver's wages, any maintenance on the vehicle, the fuel costs, and then part of my wages come out of that, and insurance. So every month I do a tally, and
So with the fuel, maintenance, and insurance for the vehicle go away, you'd just be losing a source of income for your wages?
correct.
Right, and I don't know how much of that we are actually supposed to take from that grant.
There's a lot of gray area in this.
So if this grant gets transferred to the county, does she still receive a portion of wages from that?
No,
No.
but I've got to run all of the numbers, but I think it will be all right because we are gonna, that program and all of those and the drivers and all of that are coming off of our expenses as well. So yes, the only portion would be, and we'd have to run those to figure out exactly how much it is, but it's not a huge portion of that.
It's minimal.
It's minimal.
I just want to be careful that we're not slashing her income.
No,
Okay.
that's completely understandable, but we have to be careful that we're not using money that we're not supposed to be.
Understood.
I mean, we need to get things being done the way that the grant money is supposed to be done for both Arctic and of course the county and well, everyone who that money belongs to.
Well, I would like to make a motion to direct staff to work with the county to ensure that the transportation grant is turned back over to the county and the senior center ride program ends August 1st, 2026, and to work with Wisconsin DOT to determine the best use of the 2023 van and awarded grant funds.
I'll second that.
Motion by Victoria, second by Terry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I hope this is the last. Okay, number 20 is the raise and remove order for 127 West Berlin Street, parcel number 206-00542-0000. The recommendation is to issue a raise and remove order for 127 and authorize commencing the process, including potential litigation.
This is the one that we talked about.
No, this is the only one.
Oh,
So this is a different one. What we talked about was the one on Wisconsin previously.
oh, Berlin, sorry, yep. Berlin.
All right, Tim, what do you got for us?
So I guess I will bounce off of that point, and this is following a similar process to that one on South Wisconsin. Presenting on behalf of the building inspector, just they did their inspection and the findings were very clear that this property is in a condition where this would be the appropriate process to move forward with. The one they did on the 8th of June. I mean, the history, even limited as it is that we have with the property, has been one that's had some recurring issues, not to this scale, but we don't want this to get worse. So we are asking for permission to initiate the process as outlined by the attorney and authorize the follow-up steps that could happen for this, hoping that there will be an outcome that's better than the worst-case scenario.
So I'm just going to read some of this background, that on June 8th, the building inspection responded as well as the referral from the county health department observed numerous code violations and unsafe conditions while investigating the complaints from a neighbor filed to the city, which we've also had numerous over the years. They confirmed the findings to be summarized as critical safety issues presenting severe, immediate life safety and environmental hazards. The primary core threats were atmospheric and respiratory hazards, biological contamination, and structural and physical threats. The following day, on June 9th, the county health department placard, the building is unsafe for human habitation. So it was that severe. Again, we have some new members on the board. Do you guys have any questions or concerns, anything right off the bat?
Is this owner occupied?
Yes.
And are they there now?
No,
Thank you.
they can't be at the county.
As of that date, June?
Yes.
Okay.
And, I should say relocated, yeah. Obviously, there's no, because this is just the start of the process, there are no photos yet, right, Tim?
Yeah, no photos that I'd say really well illustrate, I'd say currently what this looks like. Those could be provided if you would like at a future date, and I, of course, can answer any questions anybody has.
Yes. I will note that we were told that there's a possibility that they may be selling the property. However, Tim has tried several times to get a hold of the property owner and has failed to confirm that either way. If you move forward and that becomes confirmed, this can be good.
Because obviously at the alternative is if somebody else were to buy, this would be a lot cheaper in the long run for us, most likely, to have somebody else do the work or removal or whatever the case may be. But we can, if they're they return the phone calls or the contact, at that point, we can, you know, if it's anywhere in the near future, it's something we can kind of halt. But either way, this is the beginning of the process. And I would, my only comment would be, this is about the worst of the worst that you said.
Well, the inspector said they believe it's unreasonable to repair the building, so, yeah.
You don't like to see these in the community, however, I would like to, again, Tim, on the history, there's been several chances for,
You know, we've tried to take the angles, I mean, the police, I believe, actually had a citation process last year, I don't remember if it ended up what it all amounted to, but there was the hope and thought that it may deter this from being worse, and it unfortunately, like, in some situations, bounced back to even being worse than it was before.
this home happens to be a home in my work. When I was an older person and I had received several complaints from neighbors for years. This is not a new, case by any means. However, now the county health department is also involved. So it's both levels of structure and health concerns.
I guess I'm just confused why this hasn't come before us prior to this, because it says that there are significant complaints of damage that date back to 24 and 25. Then I swear that the 2 dates on here said 2025 when I read it online earlier today. And this letter from the attorney is actually from 2025, unless that's a misprint. So why would?
So this letter from the attorney is just the process for waivers in general.
Oh,
So we provide this, we're trying to remember to provide that to you guys every time we start the process, just so you have it.
I was very concerned.
I apologize, but that should have been clarified, I apologize for that.
Also, I think, and again, some of this goes back to just, the reporting on our end. However, Tim is 24, some of the concern, or some of the issue here is the owner. Did they purchase this in 24? Is that where this case, it was a rental unit?
I could try to speculate as to what the situation is, and actually, we hope that in this process, we can get a title search and so that's.
Just a search on Green Lake County, there was a deed transfer, that there was, or a quick deed, quick claim, I don't remember what the term was.
I mean, I just looked up the owners, they're not even in the state, so.
Oh, they are not, these owners are. So,
The
but,
tax bill is going somewhere else.
so did it, that's a whole nother. It was, so it was, and that was the issue years ago, when it would be, reported in my neighborhood, was that the owners were not in town. But if you look at the deed, hold on, I'll look it up quick.
127 West Berlin, and is still under an address not in the state.
127, hold on that.
Is that right behind you? Oh, so you're saying West Berlin?
Oh geez, sorry. Street. So it still is, okay. Yeah. So it's the same address. So the tax bill is being sent still to Texas, but it's a different name.
Yeah.
You're right.
We need to get better clarity through the, you know, scripture, I think we've been told that they do own it.
Remember the tax bill was printed in December of 25? Address history could have changed on the electronic side. The tax bill is a PDF of what was printed in December of 25.
This is the actual mailing address on T10.
Correct, and that's different from the
The
name on
back
the
end.
tax bill.
But I will also, so recorded on February of 25 is a warranty deed transfer from the names which I assumed were a rental company, or it could have been a banker, I don't know what it is, but it changed to their names. So it was in February, the change on the deed. February 25. Either way,
Well, like you said, we're starting raising repairs, they still have the opportunity to repair, even if it's recommended not to, or tear it down themselves, so.
but this was a
Raise and remove.
raise and remove,
Not repair.
formal notice of raised order or notice to raise / repair has not been requested yet. So are you asking us to make the decision of council approval for a notice of raised order or notice to raise repair? So you're not looking for a raise and or removal, you're looking for a raise or repair.
So I'd like to proceed with the raise order procedure that's outlined by the attorney letter.
So raise, not repair.
So he's looking for raise and remove. Yes.
There certainly are some pieces of information that could be assembled between now
Raise and remove, okay.
and that happening and that working time. We've been working on that to bring that the other property just for illustration here. We've been working on that for the last month and it's still, I mean, it's a process.
So when I came into this, I was really ready to move on this. However, I think it's important that we see the history of this property. I understand and I agree that it is in serious shambles. However, I think for us, and I might be wrong, I would like to see all the facts in front of us as far as what measures have been taken or requested that have not been met.
Or why we didn't start with raise and repair.
Right, years ago, was, yeah, right, like, why are we jumping to just a raise, removal?
Yeah, the inspectors had not been in this house, at least in my time here, until that June 8th date.
So how does it go from a couple, and that's what I'm saying, I emailed you earlier asking for the history. We used to get the history of contact was made, this was issued, this was to see the history of the property, but
I think we asked for that the last time.
Yeah.
You gave us this too, we asked to see history of contact.
So I wanna see the actual complaints and how many times we were there in 24, how many times we were there in 25.
were they fined, did they give dates, did they?
When were letters sent?
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal, especially when I'm looking up an address and, I mean, I do have some familiarity with T-Tech and the address I'm seeing is in a different state, so
Right.
I would
it's a big deal.
I would agree that we need to see history.
I don't, it's hard for me to go from 0 to 100. We have had nothing. No, you're right, I wanted to come in and I know this house is serious. I believe it, I agree with it, I have even talked with the county health inspectors, the county health department. It is not in good hand, not in good shape whatsoever. And again, over my years of, making the complaints myself on behalf, as an older person, on behalf of the neighbors that were complaining. I know this is a serious issue and a serious property. I think, and I would assume that legality wise, we should have all of our ducks in a row.
I think at this point, clarifying for sure, like Tim's request was to start with that title search and just make sure that we know exactly who's responsible for what, so that when we get to that point, we can start the papers properly. We need to do that on the Wisconsin property as well. It's just a part of the process. And we
But
can
that's
bring
not
back-
giving us history, that's not.
No, I'm suggesting that we start with that now, and you can make further decisions later.
I would also request that staff present history with these each time, so that we have that to review.
Are they current on their taxes, or are they letting them?
They did
slip?
not
They
pay
were
yet.
until this last year.
Oh, okay.
But it switched over in 2025, right?
Yeah,
I think it did in 2023 as well. There was different names of who it was. Prior to 23, it was all the same. There was a new name, 24, 25, now there's the new people.
oh yeah, there's been 3 different names since.
So I guess if you could clarify who has been contacted over the years, are these different people, or did they just change entities with the same people owning it? What, I guess if you could specify that, that would be helpful.
And also in the future, to Tracy's point, because I know she's asked twice now, whether they're currently living there when you bring these to us or not.
It does state that it was placarded, right?
Correct. But I know that the question's been asked twice now on 2 different properties.
So are you saying that when it's placarded, they have to move? Is that
Yes.
the-
They were given a week to, yeah,
And we know that they moved, I mean, a sign can go
Yes.
up, but did they move?
they're, my understanding is a temporary living situation.
Are there, do you know if there are minors in this house?
I don't have the firsthand information on that, but I've been receiving some information from the county, just, it does suggest, I mean, backs up what's being said here, that it was vacated in temporary permit, there's some sort of relocation plan.
You haven't been able to communicate with them, like email or phone call directly recently?
I think the contact with the county and the PD because of the severity from the county. Is my understanding, right, Tim?
Yes, and
So then once that produced, that's where this came to kind of a head of, okay, this, something has to be done with this house now, especially after the health department has been in there.
But why has the health department been in 2 houses in the last 2 months without them coming to us prior to that? Like, that's a concern that I have,
The property coming.
the property coming to us ahead of that. Because now we have 2 basically raise and removes
That we never heard of.
that we never heard of that could have been dealt with before it got to this.
Does that
Raise and
happen if
removes.
somebody went to the county and not to the city? Is that,
I don't know how exactly the health inspectors get called. But raise and removes, raise and repairs, they're all very expensive and that lands on us. We have to pay that. And the county's not, I mean, if they're not paying their taxes, the county can then take the property, but they don't have to pay that either. It's still on the city.
Did we ask a couple of months ago, perhaps you guys might remember, did we ask for a list of endangered properties to be presented to us so that we could start this review process of like, are there properties that we can be addressing ahead? I feel like that was part of our discussion a couple months ago, like how we
I
like.
guess I don't know what you mean by that.
It was for, I think the thing you're referring to were the,
Ordinance violations of like,
it wasn't the, or, abandoned properties.
Yeah.
That's where it was from.
Yeah.
Is where that stemmed from. The discussion was the list, we have a list of these abandoned properties or the, I don't know what the other term was for it. It was on the agenda not too long ago. Tim, you know? Yeah, lighted.
Lighted properties, yeah. I think we were looking to be able to review these and see if we can stem any of this kind of.
we're trying to be proactive is what I think our position is up here, and I feel like this right here is a huge red flag to me. 2 in 2 months, that's a problem.
Could have been potentially, resolved or at least on their way.
Correct.
In a matter of since 24, I guess. So we will, let's bring this back next month. I would like to see some kind of a history on the property, everything that you can get. I know the county would help, do we want a report from the county health inspector? I know that you said there, yes or no, I don't remember what you said. There are photos available or there are not?
So there were some photos taken by when the inspection took place.
Okay, so if you can have those in the file. And would it help, does anybody want the health officials report?
There is a summary report from the health official there. That's where we got the hazards listed there and the deficiencies and codifications.
That's the building.
That's the building
That's the building
inspector.
inspector, yeah.
Oh,
I'm asking for
Oh,
the health
okay.
department.
sorry about that.
So if you can also reach out to the health department for, a copy of their, whatever they're willing to provide.
I was gonna say, what we have right now is listed as confidential, so it won't,
It's public record.
not
No.
what they give us that's specifically stamped confidential.
Okay, well, if there's anything that they can give us.
Right, we'd have to ask, because what we have right now is not.
I mean, we're talking about tearing somebody's home down. So I would like to see all the facts that we can.
Is there a way to find out like when they were contacted and like how was it? If it wasn't from the city, where did that, how did they come into play on?
Well, like the PD, like if somebody's going to make a complaint, right, we've talked about that workflow before. I would have told either Jesse or Tim, and then Tim would issue the warning or whatever it may be, or the letters, but then it ultimately goes to the PD then as the next step. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
So then where it follows up after that, were there fines delivered? Again, this is a kind of a, it's hard with our records because our PD and our records don't mingle. They're not intertwined. So it'll be nice,
Most PDs are.
no, but I'm saying it'd be nice to see that all in one file. That yes, this was issued, did they get paid? I don't know, or I don't even know if anything was ever issued, but I would like to see that stuff. So let's bring that back next month, and maybe by next month, they'll have it sold. Who knows? That gives them a month to do that also.
I have a question on old business, if we're done with this.
Is everybody okay with that? Again, I don't want to push this off another month, and I was prepared to go ahead and, hope for a recommendation to move forward with it, but I just don't feel.
Just for clarity, pictures and things like that, we actually did have a conversation with, city attorney and our firm regarding this. And yes, additional information will be provided, but it was kind of suggested that we wait and see if that's something that you want, because these are systems. So yes, we can get that for you.
But why don't you think that that should be something that should have been with this, if we're talking about going forward with an order to remove somebody's home? That all of that information should have been provided with this packet. That's the decision that we were supposed to make tonight.
Honestly, I'm not even saying you have to put it in the packet, but have it available for us to look at the meeting if we request it. But yes, we have gone through having a timeline before, multiple times, and having it readily available when something like this comes up. And I don't think we got it last month either.
So I'm not willing to move forward until we have that stuff in front of us. So we will put that on the agenda next month. Item number 21, old business. Victoria, you said you had something.
Yeah, we approved the consent agenda. Do we need to approve the special council meeting minutes from June 9th?
Not on there? What is this
It
section?
says closed session.
Number 8?
Yeah, it's on there.
It's on the consent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, part of consent, got it.
Okay, that's all.
Understood. Oh, there it is, thank you.
Anything else for old business? Anything number 22 for new business? We used to request items of new business to be put on a future agenda. If not, we'll go to number 23.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Victoria, second by Sam. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 8:05 PM.